It's unbelievable, isn't it? What's now that now you can hear it. You can't see or hear. The amount of things that you actually check in a live stream before you go live, and for just the one little thing for not to be, and this is that old thing, I got to click out and cancellation and then bang. So it doesn't really matter. All you missed was the fear and greed is at 44, and then the blah blah blah, the market cap, and the blah blah blah, the Bitcoin dominance. Really nothing happening. I don't know about you, but this is my 4-hour chart on Bitstamp. Do you see this scam wick down here? You guys have the scam wick as well, or no? Because on my phone, it doesn't have it. So I was kind of surprised. I keep these charts always going. That's why I never shut my computer down, because when I do, I have to realign all these charts and I forget which 4-hour chart, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, this is the 4-hour chart, and we're kind of, we've dipped down beyond this. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is Scotty Mo's shirt. It says underrated doodle game. He kind of screenshot it from one of my videos, and I made a shirt out of it. So thank you very much. Thank you once again, Scotty Mo. I asked him to provide a link if you wanted to, if anybody else wants the shirt, you can click on it. I don't know how easy it is. I'm just assuming it is, because he makes t-shirts. One of his companies is a t-shirt company. So I think it's King of all t-shirts. So if that's something Scotty Mo can do, then I'll put it in the description and people can get an underrated doodle shirt. And people will ask you, what the hell is an underrated doodle game? It's like, well, yeah. You kind of got to be there at 8 a.m. every morning with a cup of coffee, enjoy it around the world. We're basically just following this 200 moving average. We dipped a little slightly. Does anyone have this still fighting the background music? Is it loud? Okay, I'm going to wait for 5 confirmations of the background music being loud. I can hear it in my ears, but I know I'm 10 seconds ahead. So let me know if this... What the hell's going on here? Let me see here. It's at 10. Not too bad. No. Okay. Good on my side. A tad too loud, Terry Crow says. It's at 10. Now it's at 7. The only reason I do it is because it keeps me where I know what time it is. What time to hit end out of nowhere. And you know what's funny? But you know how I just hit end and I'm done? That was my whole thing when I was in the bar scene, at parties and stuff and after parties. My number one rule was never say goodbye. Like when you're at a party, it's time to go. Yeah, just go to the bathroom, whatever. And then you go. Because no one cares, right? And if you are leaving a party, it's just like people that are late night at parties, they're the same thing. They're like, oh, where are you going? It's only 4 a.m. We're still good till 8 a.m. before my wife gets back from her nursing shift, right? And then the other rule is that anything after midnight, nothing good happens. If I were to count up all 1 million things I've ever done after midnight, none of them were ever good. They were always slightly bad. On the daily, you can see we're just respecting this triangle of neutrality. Basically, nothing happened. The reason I put that title, these tariffs will do absolutely nothing, stems from 2 situations in my life. First one, you guys will understand. Oh, you'll understand both of these. The first one, the Irish goodbye, Pablo says. Pablo, are you going to be in Vegas? Let me know if you're going to be there. 2 situations that you guys will remember. The first one was the Japan carry trade of August 4th, I think, or something like that. And to all of us, the whole world, the whole sky was falling. The whole goddamn sky was falling on April 4th with the Japan carry trade. And then, of course, I was out at Victoria Beach at the time. And then, as I moped and I pouted to the store or the tennis courts or whatever it is, it's like Dirty Dancing, cottage country there. I was like, where am I going to? What am I going to do? This is it's so unreal. And then when I got there, I realized nobody Not one person knew about the Japan carry trade and how the markets were falling and the sky was falling. Did the price dip? Oh, Pablo's going to Oslo. Did the price dip? Yeah. Did it immediately come back, and are we higher now? Yes. So that was the first one. And that's a little more, we can feel that a little more as Bitcoiners. We understand that. But again, the lesson is, no matter what happened there, Pablo, I'm sure the piano bars are better in Vegas. Yeah, well, there'll be a piano bar right behind the main stage. This one, it'll be pretty fun, pretty awesome. But as Bitcoiners, when the sky was falling, no one knew. You know, and this is how early we are too, because you know, sometimes I'll bring up when people will ask me every now and then, believe it or not, people ask me about this YouTube channel, and they'll say, "How did you get monetized?" Because to get monetized, you need 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours. It might have changed. I don't know. And believe me, had it not been for being on BitBoy's channel, I would still be under 1,000 subs for sure. So I always bring up, you know, the BitBoy channel, and no one knows. Anyone I bring it up to has no clue, you know. And like, even sometimes when I'll bring up like the Ben Armstrong stuff, we all know what that, but nobody knows. It's such a big deal in this little, you know, that's how early we are. No one knows about these things. Anyway, back to the Japan carry trade. That was a big eye opener for me of how we get consumed by, you know, news and geopolitical macro events, and it can really affect us because it affects the price and then it affects us. But really, we're paying too much attention to these small little ups and downs. They're just noise. They're just noise. Army Piper, he doesn't even know what happened. True that. And so the second one was in 2008, the Great Financial Crisis. Now, my brain was turned off. I hadn't started currency trading. In fact, that's what kind of got me into currency trading. I had a poker company called S&M Custom Poker Tables with my buddy Scott, and we made poker tables and we rented them. I told this story. Remember the Muffin Buff? Yeah. And we the business was dying, you know, and we didn't really care because we didn't really care about the business. We were successful beyond our own stupidity and bad habits. And so as it would, law of diminishing returns came into effect, 2008 rolled around, and I didn't even know, you know, like I had no clue that the sky was falling. I was one of those shut off dummies, you know, just a normie, had no clue. Like me in the Japan carry trade, who's watching the news, and me in 2008, two different people, totally not locked in. And so the sky was falling, and I didn't even know for years later. Like even 2 years later, that's when I started a nightclub. You might think right at the Great Financial Crisis, I had 4 partners. None of us were like, you know, what do you think about this starting in this massive recession, this incredible recession? Do you think we should start on a nightclub? Like, people's, you know, disposable income? No, none of us even mentioned that once. We never thought about that. We didn't even know. No one ever brought it up. You know, so these, and what happened? The price went up. Everything basically went up, right? So we do live in this number go up vacuum where outside of these calamities. So for instance, today is Liberation Day, right? And now I do expect some volatility, but at the end of the day, we will mean revert. So let's say now, if my contrarian spidey senses tell me that this is a nice opportunity for a blow everyone's mind pump because we're so bearish. I mean, the bearish The Barishnikovs on X and on YouTube are incredible. It's actually pretty comical because I'm like a you know, what is a rubbernecker when there's a accident, people slow down and they're like, oh, what happened there? Somebody under what? You know what I mean? In the gallows. I'm like a rubbernecker in comment sections. So if some of the YouTube videos I watch, as soon as they say something bullish, and then plop, you know how it's time designated. You'll get all these. I watch the comments going, yeah, and the price goes down, and screw this. This is the Barishnikovs are incredible. Bathwater Basin. What if you're once again a normie? I didn't start out. The fact that I didn't know there was a great financial crisis was one aspect, was the closest I've ever come to being a normie. But beyond that, I was never really normal. I was always a conspiracy theorist to, people made fun of me. And I didn't care. I was like, I kind of wore it as a badge of honor. It's like, well, you don't know what's going on here. You don't. What are you, stupid? You know what I mean? And then of course, when things started to pan out, I didn't really want anything that I thought would pan out. What was it? Bruce Mai just ran across Mingo's ASMR vid. Seems like a nice boy. Yeah, well, in these times of absolute nothing in Barishnikovs, I try to provide some. I put that ASMR cat purring video up as just like a cleanser. Sometimes we just need to take 9 minutes out and listen to a huge Maine Coon cat purr its ass off. It's relaxing. You should try it sometime. It's unbelievable. I did do something here. Someone was talking to me. Did the music just go up, or am I going crazy here? Just shutting it off. It's really loud now, isn't it? How's that? Anyway, I was talking to a friend of mine, JP. The Mingo video was great. Yeah, it didn't do well, but I'm learning things about YouTube. YouTube does not like you to veer off your lane, and I get it. They don't know what to do with it. If this is a technical analysis channel, a Bitcoin channel, although we haven't done much because there's nothing to talk about really. I looked at a comment. Oh yeah. It was someone was telling they went on a date, and I knew the person vaguely. I just knew of him, but I knew what he did for a living. And so I had to say, that guy's in my 5 never dates. And she's like, what do you mean never dates? Like, well, I have a list of 5 men you should never date, just based on my experience with being friends with these people and being in the list myself. Right. So I'm going to share with you the 5 never dates. This is for women. And I know 99.9% of the people watching this are men. So I do have a 5 never dates for women, but we'll do that on another day. This is the 5 never dates. Look at that title. Bing. So you can see I did do some prep for this live stream. And these aren't in particular order. They're just, 1 through 5. Number 1, bartenders. And I will come back and explain why most of these are never dates. You can probably guess. Number 2, actors and or models. Number 3, professional athletes. You're probably getting seeing a pattern here. Number 4, musicians / artists. And number 5, emergency workers like cops, ambulance drivers, nurses, fire, etc., etc. Now, hairdressers, that is a good one. Hairdressers is an interesting kind of asterisk subcontractor to the never dates. But let's go over the reason bartenders are on the never date list is because 1 through 4 Bartenders, actors, professional athletes, musicians, and artists live in a world of female abundance. They're constantly surrounded by women. So the natural value and currency that the women generally have and carry through society is diminished because they're everywhere. So there's nothing really special. And with bartenders, they also see, I have Randy Hipper may be the only girl on the stream right now, but she'll know. Girls' nights, you know, if your girlfriend ever has a girl night or whatever, and she goes out with her friends, they start as girl night, and then they end up with girl night with a couple guys that join the party. And if two guys don't join the party, well, the default is the bartender, right? So there's always someone in that group, in that girl party, that will start hitting on that bartender because it's fair game. You know, it's like they feel like they can finally flirt without any social consequences, so to speak, because the bartender, you know, is kind of flirting back, and he's trying to make some money off these girls with tips, so he's being extra friendly, etc., etc. And a lot of time at the end of the night, if a girl, you know, doesn't find some guy or whatever, an easy duck by the pond is the bartender. And, you know, it's usually the low-hanging fruit at the end of a night. So if you are dating one of those, imagine them going to work every night. It'd be a nightmare, right? Because you would have to, you would just know that every night that they're going out there, they're being hit on by women all night long. I mean, most men don't get hit on women ever. But you take any of those guys, just a normal mid-looking dad bod, balding, just generally average guy, put him behind a bar, he's going to get hit on by women. It's just because it represents an alpha male, right? You are controlling the party, and if you're in control, you look like an alpha male. Number 2, actors and or models. Same thing, although it's at a higher level. So actors and models, like when models go to photo shoots, they're surrounded by other models. So their social group is nothing but 8s to 10s. And they're actually friends with and talking to. So you take that average man, they're not really talking to or friends with. Definitely not friends with, and maybe talking to with these 8 to 10 type of women, but actors are. And so even at that, they become watered down because all the guy sees is 8 to 10 plus models. So the female abundance takes the currency down. Professional athletes, again, same thing, because they're surrounded by groupies. You know, there's always... we call them hockey pucks. When the Jets came to Winnipeg, we noticed that the top tier of women disappeared. Now, they didn't get married up; they just got ran through by the Jets, and then it's kind of hard to take. I would assume as a 8 to 10 type of girl to get ran, because they never get ran through, right? Basically, they can pick and choose what they do, but athletes are kind of higher and they get almost fed a lie, like maybe they'll get wifed up. Now, a couple of them did get wifed up, so there are success stories. 2 of them at my bar, the Green Room, did. 2 bottle services married Jets, and they don't live here anymore. Well, maybe one does. Her NHLer retired at like 28 or something, and then the other one, I think, I want to say he plays for Las Vegas Knights. He's that kind of mulatto guy. He's a bruiser, fourth liner. He's a jerk too. He would come to the bar. He's a jerk. And of course, so female abundance. Now, musicians and artists. There's take everything I said about bartenders, actors, professional athletes, female abundance, and groupies, and factor in the dementia of an artist, the hyper focused, I guess it's a selfishness too, because you're putting your craft above anything. So like when it comes to musicians, me being one, I know this, it's like I always say, I'm never bored. I can go, like when I walk by a piano, for instance, it never doesn't make me smile. I always like, oh, God, I got to do this, then I'm going to play the piano. And I can play the piano forever because it's never ending learning. It's like the Bitcoin sphere. Like the more you learn, the more you learn you don't know anything, right? It's the same with piano. But if you are like trying to build a career in it, you're so focused on it because it's such a long ball Hail Mary to make any money as a musician or an artist. You have to be hyper focused. So I always tell girls, if you're going to be dating a musician, just be prepared to maybe be third. Maybe be third. And if you're really lucky, you'll be second. But you'll be lucky enough to be third, because first will always be the craft, the instrument. Because the thing you don't know is, as a guitar player, sometimes I'd have girlfriends that would, leave at 11 in the morning or whatever, and come back at 4, and I'm still playing the guitar. I mean, you don't get sick of it, So it's not like, and so what happens is that a lot of girls will be attracted to these type of people, but what made them attracted to you will ultimately ruin the relationship, because they'll get sick of it, they'll get jealous of it, they'll get tired of it. Why are you're still playing the piano? You're still playing guitar? I don't like you going to that bar. I don't want you working there. I know a bunch of sluts that go there, and I don't like that. I don't want you to do modeling shoots anymore. Who's in this movie? Blah blah blah. Oh, and then professional athletes, forget about it. What are they going to tell them? Oh, I don't like you making $8 million a year for shooting a buck around. Now, the emergency workers. This is a different one, because they work in the gallows. So imagine this. You're just a normie. You work in an office, accounts, receivables, Mindy speaking, may I help you all day long, right? Like just doing normal stuff that normies do. Now, you're dating someone who's a nurse, an ambulance, or a cop, or a fire. And then you come home and they ask you, hey, how was your day? And you say, oh, fine. Terry didn't show again, so I had to carry his workload, and I had to put his TPS reports away for him, etc., mundane. Then you ask them, how was your day? And usually you won't get the truth, because the truth is too hard for most people to handle, because the things that these people see on a day-to-day basis, they become so numb to it. But it's the type of thing that if we were to see it once, we'd be traumatized, probably for life. We're talking about accidents. We're talking about people, having unfortunate things happening to them and they're not around anymore. I'm trying to talk around these YouTube things, weird language stuff. But you know what I'm getting at? Like they could start, let's say the normie, ICU nurses. Yeah, the top of the never date nurse list is emergency, but we'll get to that in a second. I have a neighbor who's a fireman, and I always talk to him. And it sounds macabre and dark, but I've asked him, what's his body count? And, I don't mean body count as in girls. It's like, and it's, you wouldn't believe what it is. So like my body count is 0, I think. Maybe in my memory it's 0. When we're talking about these people, their body count's 100, hundreds, if not on a daily basis. So to have your brain and your personality moved off into like, I can handle this type of horrible stuff, accidents on the highway, people not having good days and doing things to them at 9 in the morning, and then come home and, watch Three's Company and video hits. Pretend like it didn't happen. It takes a toll on them, and the darkness is something that just will eventually ruin a relationship, because their time preference gets shortened, because they realize how bizarre. Army Piper, yes. I would put military in this emergency workers too. So I think you said that you're on all these lists, Army Piper. He says, my account is unknown at this point after 4 tours of Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. So think about this. Think about the things that Army Piper has seen on a daily basis. You know, it's most people would never see it in their worst nightmare. Right. And it changes people. Now, I hope you don't get offended. You're not taking offense to the never dates. There is someone for everyone, obviously. I don't know if you're married or not, but it sounds like you are. I was a bartender. I was a musician. I am a musician. You know, I'm on this list. I just know it because I've lived it and I've seen it. And it's just some of these fundamental social aspects of life. The 5 never dates. Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring that up, Army Piper, but that's what the fireman always brought up. And to me, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I can't even. So sometimes I'm on X, and we're talking about when unfortunate things happen to younger people. Sometimes on X, I'll get caught in a video and I won't know what it is, and then I'll realize what's about to happen, and I'm like, I can't even remotely watch this, if you know what I mean. And I never was like that. You know, it wasn't until I got older and had a kid, like the concept of it. I have nightmares still about bad things happening in that scenario. And like even to this day, when I see like, you know, a young little kid having trouble, I have empathy for them out. Whereas usually I was just like, yeah, like shut up, this kid's annoying, right? There's no like kids never annoy me anymore. I'm always empathetic to it. And that is the 5 never dates for women. And thank you, Randy Hipper, for being probably the only girl on this stream right now. But if you have a girl, you can share the stream with her, and you know they listen. You can tell them all you want. Don't date these people. But guess what? They're probably the 5 dudes that they're gonna want to date, because they have a perception of higher value, excitement, fun, and you know it's either that or Johnny in accounts receivables, you know, who is talking about a stapler or whatever have you. So here we are, 84. I hope you enjoyed my list of 5 never dates. Here we are. What was that? Here we are. Come on. This Ecamm. It's really not working for me these days. Army Piper, some days it works, some days it doesn't. Listen, what I'm looking for here is a breakout. We talked about this all week long. I want to break out here and then maybe get to our first resistance at 80. Let's call it 88K. That is where I would remotely get bullish. What's your guess on today, E-Money? My guess is that obviously I don't know because I'm not a pro how the market's going to react. But if I were to go on a hunch, I feel like the bearish boat is leaning to one side. Like basically everyone is bearish right now, which leads me to believe that we may see a spike. Now we will revert to a mean. So if we were to like see a spike today up to where I said blast past it, blast the 50, 88, maybe try to take out this last candle close at 90K, a big psychological level, I would assume a retest back down at 88K, if not a complete reversion to where we are. You know, it'll take a lot to get that next leg up. Maybe this is that day. But I do think some of this was baked in because the pros know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not a pro. So the difference between me and a pro is the pro knows what's going to happen already and has its strategy in place already. And most of the pros that I know now or that I knew before, they don't day trade a thing like this. It's like trying to see like a powder keg, lighting it up and going, where do you think it's going to land when this thing blows, right? It's just, nobody knows. It just explodes and does nothing. But at the same time, there could be a chance that, we don't see anything happen and it was all baked in. But I'm hoping for the betterment of sentiment and for the betterment of all these hodlers that are getting, getting ran through like a yellow light here on the patience game. Something happens to give us a little bit of dopamine to carry us over to the next leg up, because it's coming. It's going to come. Army Piper, when does your stream start? Because I thought it was at 8:30, or did it change? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me know when before we leave here. 8 a.m. So is that in 25 minutes? 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 hour. All right. So perfect. Check out Army Piper. He's a great TA, great analyst. And he's on, and of course he's on my 5 Never Dates.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.